Similar to the while loop, we have the for loop. The syntax of the for loop is as follows. We have the keyword for, and then we have inside the brackets the initialization statement, the test expression, and the update statement. And then within the curly braces, we have the statements that will be executed within the loop. So the initialization statement is checked first, is executed first, and then it checks for the test expression. If the test expression is true, it enters the for loop body. That is, these statements will get executed. Once these statements are executed, it goes back to the update statement. It executes this statement and then goes to the test expression again. This loop keeps on continuing till the test expression is false. Once the test expression is false, it comes out of the loop and goes on to execute the next statements. How it works? The initialization statement is executed only once for any given for loop. The test expression is evaluated. If it is true, the loop is executed. If it is false, the loop is terminated. After that, the update statement is executed and the test expression is evaluated again. This process keeps on going until the test expression is false. When the test expression is false, the loop terminates. An example for this, let's say we take an index variable I and we give it an initial value I equals to 0. So this becomes our initialization statement. At the beginning of the for loop, irrespective of what the value of I is, it will be reinitialized to 0. And then this condition is checked. I less than 10. Yes, I value was assigned to 0. So 0 is less than 10. Hence it will enter the loop and execute this statement. Once this statement is executed, it will go here to I++. Once I++ is executed, the value of I will now become 1. After that, it will go again and check for this expression. Expression is true since 1 is less than 10 and execute it again. This goes on till the value of I is 9. Once it is 9, it enters the loop, executes it. But now I++ will cause the value of I to become 10. 10 is not less than 10, it is equal to 10. So the condition becomes false. Hence, at this point, it will exit the loop. Let's see this in a program. So I have a program file opened here, and for the first thing that we'll try is to print the statement 10 times. So we saw in the example that it needs an initial variable, or what we call as the index variable. So let's declare a variable. We'll call it int I equals to 0. It does not matter what we give here, but it's a good practice to initialize variables with some known values. And I'll write the for statement. I give the keyword for, and in brackets I'll write I equals to 0, a semicolon, I less than 10, a semicolon again, and I++. And then I'll give the curly brace, in the next statement I'll give the curly braces and I'll put this statement inside the curly braces. Let's build this program and run it. So here you can see we get the printf statement of hello world 10 times. Now how do we know what is the value of I? So at the end of the loop, let's print the value of I and see. We'll write a printf statement here. The value of I equals to %d, and we give the value I. So let's see what the value of I is at this point. When we run it, we get the value of I is 10. Why that happened? Because when the value of I was 9, this got printed, and then it went to the update statement, which is I++. The value of I was made 10. This statement condition became false and it exited the loop, but there was no statement to change the value of I. So it remained 10 and we got a print here of 10. Let's say we initialize the value of I to 5 when we are declaring it. Let's see what happens when we run it. We are still getting the same results. That's because even though we have made it to 5, in this statement, in the initialization statement, it's getting changed to 0. Let us now see the value of I at every iteration of the loop. So iteration is nothing but every execution of the loop. Hello world, and we'll write here I equals to %d, and we give the value of I. We build it. We see I equals to, it starts from 0. Even though we had declared 5 here, it started here from 0. That is because it was reinitialized to 0 at this point. 0 and all the way up to 9. And then the value of I is printed to be 10. If we start it from, let's say we start here from 4. What will happen at that point? Let's see it. It starts from 4. The value of I is reinitialized to 4 at this point, and the first print we get is of 4, and it goes all the way up to 9 because 9 is less than 10, but the next iteration 10 becomes equal to 10, which makes this statement to be false. Now let's say we want to print this statement 5 times. So how do we do it? Let us reinitialize this back to 0. We'll start from 0 itself, and we need to run it 5 times. So the first one is 0, second one is 1, then 2, 3 and 4. So we run it all the way up to 4, that is less than 5. So we run it till the point the value of I is less than 5. We build it and we run it again. We see the hello world statement has executed 5 times. 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4. And the value of I at the end of the loop is 5. So for loops are useful in cases where we know exactly how many times we want to run the loop. Let's say you are designing something where you have 10 number of rooms and you want to do an execution based on the number of rooms. Let's say read the temperature from each room. So we could write something, we could write that logic inside a for loop. We can have int room index underscore index equals to 0, and we use this variable for running the for loop. Room index equals to 0, room index less than 10, where 10 is the number of rooms we have, and room index plus plus, and we print here room index values. So here we are writing printf statement just to check the output, but in the embedded program it could be a function call to read the temperature from a particular room number 0 and then 1 and then 2 all the way up to 9. So there are total 10 rooms. When we run this, it's just the variable name we have changed. When we run it, we get the exact same result as we had when we name the variable as I. One other thing to note here is the value that gets printed is based on this variable that we have mentioned here. Even though we wrote I here, it is printing this value. This value is not I, this is room index. So if we see in the output, because of our printf statement it was I, but the value was of room index. We can change it to room index, build it again, run it. So room index is 9, but here we did not change, so here it still shows as I.